In this episode of Film Stock Reviews, I'm reviewing Season 2, Episode 4 of American Horror Stories, titled Milkmaids. Now, this is a very interesting episode. This episode should not have been titled Milkmaids. It should have been the title of what the subject and the MacGuffin is in this episode. Now, this story takes place in 1757 in New England, so it's the 18th century, and the village has been devastated by smallpox. Now, Thomas, played by Cody Fern, is really good and really well done. The episode starts off with his wife dying from smallpox, and, his son saying, like, what happened? We don't have any friends anymore. He's like, no, all of our friends are dead. So then there's this pastor who comes into town, evidently, and meets with this woman, Celeste, who's evidently a prostitute. As they're doing their thing, they're having sex, and they're getting it on, we see that Celeste has smallpox. So she, squeezes one of her pustule wounds and then puts it in the mouth of the pastor. It's just a weird scene. It's a grotesque episode where it makes you cringe in a way. It's like, ooh, it's just weird. So Thomas later on tells Pastor Walter that a rumor that smallpox can be cured by eating the hearts of the dead people, because the dead people rise at night, they feast on the living, and then they spread smallpox like that. Okay. And then somehow the pastor makes his congregation follow suit, and they start digging up, the bodies and start eating hearts. So the village evidently shuns out Celeste. She kind of, broke her forearm, and she takes refuge with a milkmaid named Delilah. Now, Delilah and the two begin a relationship. They start sleeping together and everything. And then Delilah realizes that being infected with cowpox, because she had it too, and evidently they were both milkmaids at a previous time, has given immunity to them to smallpox. So as the villagers eat the hearts straight from the corpse of the dead, Delilah begs them to stop, and that the milk from an infected cow can protect them from the disease. Walter, of course, the pastor, denounces her in public, smacks her over the head with a rock, and Thomas is like, what's going on? What's happening? He assaults Celeste in a way, and we kind of find out where that Thomas had some kind of history, where Celeste actually says, she had this child one time and it was taken by the father, and then, I never saw my child again. Come to find out, Thomas was married to Celeste, and the young boy is actually, the real son to Celeste. So the young boy's real life mother is Celeste. And Delilah kills Walter, but is herself killed by Thomas, and before Thomas dies from his injuries. And then Edward, who is unaware that Celeste is his biological mother, doesn't believe it, stabs her, eats her heart. That's the end of the episode. Yes, I actually did just say the whole entire 43-minute episode, and I just gave you spoilers, because I didn't find this episode really interesting at all. It was, in a way, different. The first two episodes of this season of Dollhouse and Aura were really good. Drive was really bad. Milkmaids was good to a point, but it wasn't as scary. It just makes you think about what's going on with society back in the day, especially how long it took to eradicate smallpox in the real world. And, the trials and tribulations that these people went through back in the 18th century with this disease was insane. Who knew if cowpox could actually cure smallpox? I doubt that's possible. And the whole aspect of science and religion is really forefront in this, with Celeste, worshiping Lazarus, Pastor Walter worshiping Jesus and everything, and Thomas not knowing what to do. Cody Fern is the only thing that made this episode really interesting and really fun to watch. Even though it was more so centered around Celeste and Delilah, those two actresses were good. Pastor Walter was kind of annoying in a way, and really didn't make any sense. He just wanted to live because he wanted to live. But like I said, Cody Fern as, Thomas was good. It drove the story along, but I feel like it wasn't cohesive enough. This was better than the third episode, Drive, but it could have been done in a different way. Like I said, Milkmaids should not have been the title of this. It could have been Smallpox or something like that, and then we understand the story of what's happening. Other than that, another disappointing episode in season 2, and I'm curious to see what the other episodes have in store next. I mean, episode 5 is evidently titled Bloody Mary, episode 6 is Facelift, episode 7 is Necro, and episode 8 is Lake. Now, evidently, somehow, when Dollhouse was released, the first episode, episode 2 was supposed to be Necro. But I guess they switched it around, changed it, and now we're getting this. We'll see if this stays the same or if they'll switch it up again. But there are only 8 episodes this season, and the season 2 finale of American Horror Stories is September 8th, 2022. So I'm curious to see if these stories get better or worse, because like I said in my 3 previous episode reviews of this season, season 1 was good and had hit or misses, but, you know, it was different. Season 2 started off strong with 2 episodes, and it was like this trajectory was good, and then all of a sudden it just went like this a little bit, and now it's just evening out. So I'm curious to see what happens with the episodes. I like the setting of the episode. It kind of had that Roanoke feeling to it. Maybe who knows how, if that was connected to it. We don't know, but you know, hey, I'm curious to see what happens in these next episodes. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought about season 2, episode 4 of American Horror Stories, titled Milkmaids. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you think of it? What did you think about the acting, the story aspect, and the twists and turns? And do you think that this was an interesting story or could have been done better? Let me know in the comment section below about all the questions I just asked, and I'll see you all in the next review video. And be sure you tune in next week for my season 2, episode 5 review of American Horror Stories.